What's going on, people? Welcome to the live match reaction. We are back to winning ways in the Conference League. 3-0 Palace win, a dominant win, and there's a lot to talk about with very good performances. As always, even if you're watching on replay, please do hit the like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And if you do want to call into the show, you can do so by clicking on the link in the comment section, which will be pinned. Isn't pinned yet, in about a few minutes time, but by then I'll remind all of you when it is. We jumped on a bit earlier today. I mean, the game was done pretty much in the first half. Second half, there were rotations, which was useful. But yeah, we went out there and did the job against a side that we were expected to go and dominate. And we started the game off fast. All three attackers contributed with being on the score sheet, kept the clean sheet. It was nice that Wharton and Kamada managed to get a rest in the second half as well. All positive, Nick, coming out of that game. I mean, nothing much more we could have done.
No, not really. You got to remember, I looked up Chadwick's, their sponsor, and it's Builders Merchants, so I'm not going to get too excited over that. It was comfortable. There was a big difference between the first and second half when you didn't have Kamada and Wharton just putting the ball anywhere they wanted to. It was a masterclass in forward play. And notwithstanding the fact that Shelbourne, although they've won their league this season, their season's just finished. They haven't really played any games, have they? So, although we saw it as a potential banana skin, I think it was just comfortable. How many attempts did we have in the end? 27, something like that? 28? If we're being picky, we should score more, really, shouldn't we? But, lots of
crazy amount of it.
Yeah, Ucha scoring. Yeah. I mean, that's the biggest positive. Yeah. He was my man of the match today. For Palace, anyway.
Yeah, him scoring, not only scoring. Yeah, not only just scoring. Each I thought had a great performance overall in terms of his contribution. It was very, very positive in terms of what Glasner asked for from a striker anyways. And today what we saw from Uche, I think he ticked all the boxes and ticked the boxes of, what Mateta does in terms of even when he doesn't score, having that contribution, his hold-up play, bringing others into the game. And today, I mean, when you look at Uche's profile, even without watching him play for Palace, which he hasn't played that many minutes, but you saw it even against Fulham. He's a physical player. I see him more as a number 9 rather than number 10. And one of the key parts of Mateta's game that we've seen so far is that his hold-up play, his hold-up play, bringing others into the game if he's not scoring, plays a massive part. And today, Uche was just phenomenal. Like, he done that as good as JP's done that, in terms of we didn't miss JP today, of course. Context matters. Shelbourne, in comparison to Premier League opposition, it's a different case. But today, with the opposition in front of him, with him getting lack of minutes, his first start for us as well for Palace, he ticked all the boxes. And hopefully from here onwards, because we do need it and we have needed it with JP not traveling with the squad even for this game, he contributes a bit more, Nick, in terms of minutes.
Yeah, it's got to be good. It almost feels, and again, I don't want to understate, because you got a player who's in front of you. It was a great performance, and it was a good performance when he was on against Fulham. So it almost feels like Glasner's pulled a rabbit out of the hat right at the time, and it's like you do wonder, was this his plan all the way along? And Uche at the end. While I was faffing about getting ready, was just lapping up, running to the crowd, to the Palace fans at the end there. So that was good.
Yeah. And the positive is that if you look at this game and say, oh, it was only against Shelbourne. Well, he came on against Fulham and had a positive impact as well. Now, that's back-to-back games. This is his first start for us, so he's getting more and more minutes. And it's looking good in that regards because, we've desperately needed competition in the front three, and we've spoken about who plays where. Roman Esse also came on in the second half, which we'll discuss in the show. So yeah, lots of positives. But let's start off with Uche's first goal. I thought it was a great pass from Daichi to Eddie with the ball into Uche. What do you expect from Uche from here onwards? In the last 2 games, he scored a good goal today. I don't know if Eddie's goal counts as an assist. I don't think it does. Um, but what do you expect from Uche from here, Nick? Because it seems like he's finally getting the trust of the manager, and that word trust has been used a lot even on these shows because it just seemed like he wasn't getting not seemed like he wasn't getting any minutes, to be fair, let alone any significant contributions till the last 2 games.
It's not just trust with the manager, but it's also getting minutes on the pitch with the first team, which is going to build up even more. He can only get better, really, and unless he's one of these peak and trough players. But on that performance with his touches and his confidence, I mean, that cheeky little flick where he tried to get it over the goalkeeper in the first half, it was just lovely to watch, and he was involved with and in and amongst lots and lots of fluid moves with little touches and runs on and whatnot. So really good, and he seemed to have a good understanding with Eddie.
He did. Yeah, and that really stood out when you're looking at how many times Eddie and Uche played together. Barely anything. I can't remember in the Fulham game. They played together. Did they
Probably
play? Yeah, they did because he came off with JP. So
probably the first and second.
So apart from training, we haven't even seen
it.
Yeah. So yes. So the fact that they had that connection was very positive to see. Talking about Eddie, just quickly in the first half, do you think he should have had a penalty?
Yeah.
Cool. I don't want to talk about the refs, but yeah, there was a few decisions today that really stood out. The first half, the Eddie one, that should have been a penalty for us. And then, there were a few other fouls, which was kind of baffling how VAR, by the way, VAR were involved today and we didn't get decisions our way. But I think because we won 3-0, it's going to go under the radar. But I thought I'd give it a quick shout out because it was clear and obvious. You can't get more clear and obvious than that.
VAR. Man,
yeah.
SA, you've got to talk about SA. I mean, how many goes would it take you to strike a shot, hit one post, the ball roll across the line, hit another post, and then the goalie somehow manages to get to it? I mean, that's got to be a 1 in over 1 million chance, isn't it?
Yeah. We'll talk about Ess's performance. I just want to go through the first half first. Eddie's goal. And once again, Eddie's goal, of course, he was there at the right place at the right time. But the thing that really stood out to me, and this is where my praises for Uche really does come in. And as I mentioned, yes, he scored a goal. That was fantastic. But it's the other elements of his game. His eagerness to get on the ball. If he wasn't as persistent to get a touch on that ball, I know he hit the post, but that chance is nowhere. Like, that's it. The play's done. But he was just so determined today. And once again, just praises to him because I don't think the second goal comes if Uche doesn't get his foot on the ball. And,
it was such a delicate little dink, wasn't it? It showed another side. It's not just all about blasting, but it's knowing how much to put on the ball. And, it's almost snooker-esque in his approach to striking the ball, isn't it? Knowing where to get the spin on it and whatever. So it's really good. And Ketia, of course, kind of went in looking like he was going arse over tit, didn't he? But fair play. I mean, he's had 2 starts, 2 goals.
And an assist as well. So that's going to
definitely count as an assist off the post.
I don't think so. That one doesn't count as an assist. But, I mean, he doesn't really need it, Uche. His performance speaks for himself anyways. But, yeah, Nketiah did get a goal and an assist in the game. And Yerry Pino really topped it off. And, 3-0, great finish from him. Once again, Kamada was involved with the third goal as well. And at that point, what did you think? My first thought was, all right, cool. We're going to get to halftime, 3-0 at least. Maybe we could have scored another goal potentially because we scored the goals early in the first half. And it was a case of what changes could he make? And he did make changes at halftime. But what was your stance when it's 3-0 so early on in the game? Did you expect it to be that comfortable?
I predicted 5-1.
Did you actually mean that though?
Yeah, I thought we'd tank them. I really did, because I thought they're sponsored by builders merchants. No offense to builders merchants everywhere. You do an essential service, but it's so yeah, I knew we'd tonk them, and I think the substitutions were very sensible. I mean, there was a lot of talk in the chat about maybe Lacroix, who's had a lot of minutes, could come off. Klein, he looked so assured when he came on, if we're talking about substitutes. So yeah, and Richards, we just, I think it said it in the commentary, but who are you going to pick for a player of the season this year? Because we could
it's a long season.
A lot of them, and I know there's a lot of the season to get, or the player of the season so far. You know, other seasons it's been one or maybe two players has just stood out, but you can really see how much of a team we are, and some of our passing moves today were just sublime. Absolutely 100%.
And that did come from the midfield, I thought, especially Kamada and Wharton. I thought they controlled the game. Yeah, they controlled it fantastically. But saying that, at halftime, thankfully, I did think both of those players should be subbed off for the City game, which was a positive that they only had to play 45 minutes, which, of course, Lerman Hughes did come on, and maybe we lost a bit of creativity there. But saying that, I think Hughes had a very good game. You know, we still create chances, but, of course, Kamada and Wharton are just a level above. And Romanese came on, which you did mention about him being unlucky about missing opportunities. But apart from the double post which he hit from that shot, what did you think of his performance today? Because that was the first time we've seen Romanese play, I believe, since the Millwall game. I'm pretty sure he hasn't played since the Millwall game. So what do you think of his performance in the second half?
I thought it was very good. I got a bit worried when he skillfully got into the corner, but did a lovely back heel. Can't remember who it was to. So he thought about what he was going to do next. Again, a couple of layoffs. He had that lovely, tricky little run that resulted in the free kick on the edge of the box that Sosa took. So yeah, I thought he did all right. Really did. I don't think he disgraced himself, and I think he seemed to be more aware that he was a team player.
Yeah, 100%. It seems like he was, even off the ball. I was tracking him off the ball to see how he is with his defensive efforts, and it just seemed like he did exactly what Glazer kind of wanted him to do, especially off the ball. Tracking back and also making sure, in terms of the press, he wasn't just in one man, and it was, he knew exactly what was required from him. So that was a positive. But on the ball, I don't think he'd done anything particularly great, but he wasn't bad either. I just thought it was a decent performance from him, considering, what he's had to go through after that Millwall game. It seems like slowly his confidence is getting built up, and it's good to see that, some of these players that we spoke about, Uche, Esse, are needing to step up and maybe getting more opportunities during this period. The fact that they are getting it now, especially with Uche. Let's see with Esse going forward if he gets more chances from Oliver Glasner. But it seems like Uche definitely will. And another positive in terms of today with the subs, with Casey coming on, which was good. Academy player, of course. He got, Glasner did speak about it before the game, saying they both, Drake Thomas and Casey, do deserve this opportunity as they've been playing well for the academy. Yeah, and it was nice to see him come on. I don't know how much of a role he'll play from here till the end of the season, but we are tight with the squad as it is right now. And Devaney, I don't know if he would have came on if Devaney wasn't injured. Hopefully there's nothing serious there, by the way. But, he's had his opportunity from an injury, and it was nice. It was nice to see him on.
Yeah, it was. I can't recall him doing anything of note. I'm not sure how much his heat map will be glowing on the various websites, but it's good that, just that they get a chance to get that experience of being with the first team, being out on the pitch at a first team game, kicking the ball about at the beginning, and just getting that feel for it, because they never really had much of that before, would they? Unless they played sort of under 21 England football or whatever. So it's good that they get the whole vibe of it, but to actually get minutes as well, yes, that's brilliant. However, I know the fact that Danny's stayed at home. Notice how I'm first name terms with him, and Mateta stayed at home, so they weren't travelling. Who else was it who stayed back? Somebody else did. I can't remember now. So they haven't had to travel either, so they've got more time for recovery on for Sunday's game. Plus, we've got Star coming in, but they've got the competition now. Mateta's thinking, this Uche may be quite good. I better start putting those one-on-ones away now, otherwise I'm going to lose my place. And I will be going to Serie A.
And the positive as well is that going into the next game, you're going to have hopefully Sar back, which will, even if it's one game, could be nice, even as an option off the bench, and JP as well. So yeah, that's going to be the positive. And I think Yeremy Pino getting subbed off, yes, he needed, some rest anyways, but I was thinking about the next game as well. Does that mean that if Son and JP are fit, does that mean that Nketiah and Uche could potentially go to the bench ahead of them too? It seems likely anyways. Yeremy Pino, I think, is ahead of the pecking order for those players. So that's an area to look at as well.
The fact is, we now know, which was our worry, is that in Uche, we've got somebody with impact that we know can come from the bench, because we laughed about it, didn't we? We said, what are we going to do if Mateta and Nketiah are playing? Who's going to come on and help? And, a week later, we're all like...
I think that question really came from Uche, and Esse didn't really seem like an option up until maybe like Fulham game, and Esse, of course, came on in this game. So I don't know how much of a role he'll play. So I think that's the reason why those questions were being asked, because it just seemed like Nketiah was the only option to come off the bench as an attacker. But it seems like Uche is finally giving us a bit of more confidence, especially the manager, to have him on the pitch and for him to have meaningful contributions. And also, we are 9th now in the Conference League. So that's going to be interesting as well. Before we bring on the guests, by the way, you can call into the show by clicking on the pinned comment. And if you haven't already done so, please do hit the like button if you do enjoy the show. We are 9th in the Conference League, but Glaser did mention that he's not going to play the same starting 11 in the Coops game as in the Leeds game. So he's going to have a massive rotation there. I mean, there is an opportunity to go into the top 8 with a win there. Well, I mean, more than opportunity. I think if we win there, we are in the top 8. It's going to be interesting, though, isn't it? I mean, he's kind of happy with even a playoff round, and it makes sense. I mean, if 2 games in 48 hours is just absolutely ridiculous, especially with the amount of games that's being played. But we are in a nice position now, sitting 9th rather than where we was 18th, saying, what on earth is going on?
Yeah, I think Strasbourg won as well today, didn't they? Did they beat Aberdeen? So it kind of shows, that them who have beaten us are one of the favourites and kind of heading that table, aren't they? Must be. I haven't seen it. I just know we're 9th. So the fact that I think a couple of the teams are playing each other means that a victory should assure us of a top 8 place, and which most importantly means that we get a weekend, a Thursday off at some point, which is going to be really important.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, let's bring on the guests as well. Let's bring on Animal first. Animal, 3-0 win today, clean sheet away from home and up to 9th in the Conference League. What a great night. And I mean, Uche, which player that we've been talking about a lot, finally got his first start for Palace, and what a performance.
Yeah. Really good result. Made it really easy for us, really, in the end, didn't they, Shelbourne? I thought Uche was outstanding. Man of the match for me, personally. Just that drive and that willingness to get everybody involved in the game and up the pitch. And you could see that, it wasn't all just about him as well. He avoided taking a shot and passed the ball, and it's crazy to think that we haven't seen more of him to this point, But if I was Uche, keep doing that. Like, do what you're talking on the pitch,
Yeah, and he did do the talking on the pitch, albeit it was against Shelbourne. a weaker type of opposition. But I think the main positive is that he had a good performance against Fulham as well when he came off the bench. So it seems like it's just not like a one-off. And hoping from here onwards, he can build on it. That's the biggest thing. Like, you know, Glasgow giving him more opportunities which people really wanted and he hasn't had. But now that he's got his opportunity, now he just needs to continue building on these positive last couple of performances.
Yeah, it was really good to have a load of the fringe players come on and play as well. Benitez and I thought Taveni was all right today. And young Ben Casey as well. It's good to see these players getting some minutes under their belts. You know, it's a good day to be a Palace fan.
And it was a good cliche. I know it's cliche. Oh, the keeper's good because he's able to make a save near the end when he hasn't had to do much all game. Because it was quite a good one, wasn't it? Tipping it over the bar like that.
Yeah. He was involved. I just don't think he had much to do in the way of saves. But yeah, it was a decent game for Benitez to get into. But yeah, on to the next one. Really, I think for everybody, I think it's just business at this point, isn't it? We need to have a game against Coops, and we need to see it through.
Is Sosa a decent replacement there, or a decent cover? Do you think?
I think there's a couple of players that I get a little bit frustrated with watching, and I think Sosa is one of them, and I can't quite nail on why. And like obviously his crossing could be better. But there's just something about him on the ball. He just lingers with the ball a little bit too long, like gets himself into a little bit of hot water. And Eddie is the other one that I really struggled with Eddie sometimes. Like there was a clean open goal in that game in the second half, and he just couldn't poke it home. He needed to take an extra longer touch, and then eventually the defenders got back. And you know, you just want that killer instinct from Eddie. You know, that just to go ugh. Because I remember when Odsonne Edouard first joined, right, and he made his debut against Spurs, and for ages all we wanted to do was see someone take a shot, like have a shot, and Edouard brought that, you know, the 2 goals in that game, and they were from, you know, just taking the chance instantaneously. Now, unfortunately for Edouard, that, you know, his Palace career didn't end up the best, but Mateta instead shone. But I want to see that killer instinct from our attackers, you know, like just to poke it home as soon as you see that opportunity, just get it in there, because that's what we need. We need that urgency, you know, get it in that net.
Almost be able to score instinctively with our eyes shut.
Yeah.
And it was Sosa, I kind of agree with you, but I mean, he took a crap free kick. But to be fair to the bloke, how far did he run back to perform that absolutely fantastic tackle? So,
yeah, this is true. You know, and the pitch was a nightmare today. You know, it was you know, drenched and it gets all logged up and the ball doesn't move as quick as you want it to. So, you know, it's going to be hard on the legs for those boys who are probably used to playing on a little bit of a nicer surface. But you know, it is what it is. It's Ireland, it's Shelbourne. You know, they were just probably happy to be there at all, and you know, we were happy to get the points.
That stadium roof just unnerves me because it reminds me of Watford. I just didn't like it. That was the only thing that ruined my day, was being reminded of Watford because of their roof. Dee, have you got over your coughing fit yet, mate? Are you feeling better?
No, I'm good. In terms of where we are in the Conference League, Glasgow did mention before this game that he wasn't expecting to play the same, you know, starting 11 as he does in the Coops game, in the Leeds game. I mean, based on just simple logic, he's going to go for weaker starting 11 in the Coops game because he's going to, you know, Leeds a better opposition. It's a bit of an interesting dilemma now, isn't it? Because if we do win that game, which I think we will with our strongest 11, then we'll automatically be in the top 8, 2 less games. But it seems like Glasgow doesn't mind the playoff game. I'm saying that. I mean, there's still a chance, even with a rotated squad. I mean, for the 11 rotated squad is interesting because I don't even know if you have 11 players to rotate the whole squad. So it might need some academy players. But we are in an interesting dilemma, in a good position, to be fair. Like, we're 100% in the playoffs, which was never really a concern anyways. The real question is, can we get into the top 8, which we can with a win, but yeah, next Conference League game, I wonder what he does. What do you reckon he's going to do in terms of the starting 11? Do you reckon he rotates, as he did say before this game?
Yeah, I think he's probably safe in the knowledge that he can trust a couple of these players a little bit more than he has shown in recent weeks. I can understand if you think that Uche maybe plays a little bit for himself, but there's everybody's got a driver. Do you know what I mean? And it's all about utilizing that. So if Uche plays for himself, then how about he goes and scores himself a goal? You know, like you've just got to get sometimes, right? When we've got our backs up against the wall and we've got players out injured, sometimes you've just got to take a punt on somebody's, self-interest to put the ball back in the back of the net. Because I'd rather someone put the ball in the back of the net for their interest than not put the ball in the back of the net for everybody's, disinterest or whatever, to everybody's disdain.
Unless you're Marco Reich and you play fucking brilliantly till you sign a contract and you're like the worst player anybody's ever seen. I mean, there's Marco Reichs all over the world, but yeah.
But if I was Coops, do you know what I would do? Because I think Shelbourne came out today wanting to attack the game a little bit. They needed to get something out of the game, I think, and so it left them really open. I mean, they weren't exactly the greatest team out there in the first place. But if I was Coops, I'd play a low block against us. Why not? I think that's the best way to try and win against us is if you just shut up shop and do a Larnaca on us, basically.
Yeah, and another reason why they may go with that option as well is I need to double check the Conference League table. To be fair, in the second half, I was watching the game, but one eye was also on the later scores. I did want Mines to lose because if they did, they would be in the top 8, which didn't happen. Albeit, they did have a red card, and all of those teams in the top 8, they can't end up there because some of them are facing each other as well. So there is a bit of complication towards it. But where Coops are right now, they are 25th. So this is where it gets a bit interesting. They are only one spot below the top 24, which gets them a playoff spot. So if they pick up a point against Palace, it might just be enough. It might just be enough. Or you could look at it other way, saying that they might have to go for the win, because if they go for the win, then that confirms 100% they'll get a playoff spot.
Is 1 point going to be enough, though? I mean, what's the goal difference?
Yeah, so the teams above them, I don't know. I need to look at all the fixtures and see if anyone...
This is where we get our viewers to look it up for us and report back in the chat.
Yeah, there's a lot of... between 20th and 25th.
Be like online producers coming up with the info.
Yeah. Between 20th and 25th, there's only 1 point that's separated. So if they picked up a point, then I guess goal difference, they got a positive goal difference, which stands out to me in terms of teams above them as well. They may make the playoff spot. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting how they approach it. However, if they came out attacking and if Palace did rotate, like Glasner did say, and maybe they might think, all right, cool, we're going to go into this game aiming for a win, they 100% make the playoffs if they win that game. They 100% will. So it's going to be interesting how they approach it. But let's forget about the Coops game for a second, because typical Palace, we got another game on Sunday. No time for any rest. You got City. Good thing is, we played Kamada and Walton only for 45 minutes. Mateta didn't play this game because he needed a bit of rest, and he should be back in training on Friday, which is positive. Sarr could be back as well for the City game. I guess in terms of fatigue, the only real negative is the back three. They ended up playing all 90, but it's looking decent in terms of game management, right? Because we're going into the City game with key players not playing the full 90, especially midfield and attack in this, midweek game against Shelbourne.
Yeah, I don't think we could have done much better rotation-wise in that game. I thought that it was going to be quite heavily rotated, to be honest with you. Shame to have Munoz out with knee surgery, isn't it?
Yeah, so he'll be out till early January at least. So he's going to be out for a while. So we just need to navigate through this month. But we're doing well. I mean, so far after the City game, we still got loads of games, but taking a game at a time. So yeah, let's see what we do. But yeah, Munoz will be out.
I'm happy with the rotation today, and I think I think Kamada and Wharton were brilliant today. By the way, in the first half for that first half display. The passing that those two were doing in the middle of the field was just excellent. And there, I saw some people, negging on Kamada a little bit after the weekend, saying, "Oh, what does he do?" And if you can't see how much Kamada does for us, you're lost. You're lost in terms of football. Maybe you're just looking at the attack or something like that. Because I tend to sort of swing to look at I look quite defensively a lot of the time because I used to be a defender. So I guess you can have some biases as to which area of the field you look at, but the stuff that Kamada does for us off the ball and winning balls back and making some of these passes, I think it's underappreciated. But yeah, a really, really good showing from the boys today, and from some of the extras as well. I thought Pino was grabbed his goal brilliantly as well. So yeah, really good all-round win, and on to the next one. We've got to be laser focused on this game.
Yeah, 100%. Let's see what happens. But great talking to you, Animal. Hopefully catch up with you on Sunday.
Yeah, you two boys. All the best. Up the Palace.
All the best. Up the Palace. Take care. Let's bring on Tim. I know, Nick, you have to go.
Yeah, sorry everyone. Up the Palace. See you Sunday. Sorry, Tim. It's nothing you said or.
No, it's all right. It's all right, man. Take care, Nick.
I'll speak.
How you feeling,
Tim?
Dave?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. 3-0 win, positive. And I didn't mention as well Mitchell today. He was rested, so that's another player that's going to go into that City game.
We're going to need that.
Let's get your thoughts on this game.
Dominant
first half. Dominant first half. Controlled second half. I think that's a quick summary that comes into my head when thinking about that game. But what do you make of it?
A lot to appreciate. Defensively, we really dominated that game. Really did not give them much space. They get one shot at the end that Benitez makes a really nice save on. But honestly, for most of that game, lots of control, through the middle. So the back line was superb. Really, I thought they were excellent. But really, the game is about how that front three played, especially in the first half, really well. And I want to single out Uche for a couple of things. I think Uche was my man of the match, but a couple things. The first is the goal that he takes. Excellent side-footed finish. Love it. You love to see it. He gets into the box, sets himself up well. Excellent strike, D. But the thing that I really, really loved was when Jeremy comes in and we go up 3-0 and he takes the run. The first thing I loved about that, D, is one of the criticisms of Pino that I think a lot of us have had is he's been in situations where he had a chance to take the ball, drive into space, and take a shot. He looked for the pass, and some of his decision-making in some instances has been a little bit questionable. Not this time. And part of the reason for it is Uche comes in and makes a run for him and drags the center back just enough where Jeremy can run in, and just gives him enough space. He takes that shot. That was out. I mean, that was great. I get it. Shelbourne is levels below where Palace is, but that's the kind of play, the interplay between that front three, that's really going to do us a world of good, where you have players just kind of figuring out, trying to find each other. That was outstanding, D. I mean, it just felt so good. And then what Animal said would be the second big point that I have. What a difference it makes when Wharton and Kamada are running the midfield. They were outside. I mean, they were just sensational.
Does that prove? Sorry to cut you off. Does that prove the point of why some Palace fans wanted those players to start, and maybe then you rotate to Hughes and Lerma? I mean, Glazer, you can't say anything bad about him, but that some people were asking for that, and in few of our European games, just start with both of them and then rotate over when the game is done. Maybe the Larnaca game, even though we create chances in those games.
I mean, it's very obvious, isn't it? Like I think is it the second goal where it's the Eddie goal, right? Uche opens. Yes, it's the Eddie goal, and Kamada gets into space. And he goes one touch into, and I think, is that into, I forget who makes the second pass. But it's Kamada. I know what it is. It's Kamada, Uche, and then Nketiah cleans it up. But man, he was terrific. They were both terrific. The passing and the speed at which we played was way different in the first half, and you could just see it. They are sensational together. So yeah, does it justify it? I think it does. I mean, if they are playing Sunday, and we have them relatively rested for City, I mean, as much as we can have them rested, they won't be fully rested, but as enough legs that they can give us a good 70 minutes, we have as good a chance as we'll ever have, against that side. They are terrific together, D.
Yeah, they are. They are. Some comments coming from Glasner post game. We'll go through them now. On Roman essay, he said the following. This is coming from Ed Aarons. He said that I told him after the game that this was his best performance for us, which is interesting.
I agree.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question about some of the performances.
Keep going, and I'll ask you about that.
Yeah,
we can talk
it's just a first step, but now it's up to him to show consistency, which is, of course, the last part is very important. But saying that, I thought the Wolves game, that's the first thing that came to my head when I was just reading that now. I thought he had a decent game in the Wolves game. I think he was better then. Maybe he forgot about that game, Glazer, because it happened such a long time ago. I think that was his best performance for us. But overall, Esse did come on and he didn't look out of place. That was the most important thing. Against Millwall, he looked like, I don't even know. He looked clueless on the pitch. And
he did. And he wasn't playing the same speed as the rest of the team. And that was obvious. I will tell you why I agree with Glasner there. And I understand that this feels a little bit like a hot take. The thing that and it comes down to what the manager wants from his players. He wants, in my opinion, he wants three things. The first thing he wants is very simple. Run into space, get the ball, move the ball quickly, run into space. That's the first thing he wants. The second thing he wants is to have you, be connected. Be connected where you are playing. And he was doing it, like these very simple things. Be connected in space, be a part of the press. That was, like these very simple things. And then the third thing he wants is energy in defending. Keep it tight, stay connected to your team, and be part of the defense. Help win the ball back. And when you help win the ball back, turn with the ball as quick as you can, find a pass, and run. I mean, it was all really simple stuff, D. It was not his most creative game by any stretch. I think you are correct to point out the Wolves game. In the Wolves game, you saw the Romain essay, which is like very tricky, really doing lots of flicks and tricks on the ball, getting into space, had a good 1-2 going with Nketiah. And it was the tricky winger version of Romain essay. And that player is there, but that's the player that Glasner will allow Esse to get to once he can be relied upon to do the basics that he demands of everybody on that team. And this time, I thought I saw Romain playing direct, basic, head up, getting into space. And I think the thing that was really typified of why he did what I think Glasner really wants is the free kick he wins on the edge of the box. Like he gets into space, he takes the ball, he takes a quick turn, and he holds it, and he gets into space, he goes down, and you win a free kick. The free kick that we ultimately took was pretty terrible, but it's a good win of a free kick in a dangerous area. I thought Romain was, I'm not going to say he was excellent. I'm going to say that's a player that now has put down a marker where he can develop from there.
Yeah, it's a base. It's a base to build on. Because before it just looked, I don't know how to describe it. It just looked like he was playing Jenga and it was about to just fall off. Like he was just basically on the ropes. And now it's like, all right, let's start again. And he's built that base. And I did say at the start of the show, I don't know if you heard it, but today I think what really impressed me the most about him was what he done off the ball. He just seemed like it might seem basic, but in terms of the press at the right time, tracking down the player. Wants. And I think that's what impressed Glazer maybe the most. And that's why maybe the Wolves games comes out of his head, because in the Wolves game, not that I remember exactly what he done off the ball, but on the ball, he was very good. But we know that Glasner, even before we signed Yeremy Pino, he did mention we were getting a different profile from Eze. Maybe a player that might do something a bit more than what Eze offered us as well. And he was talking about off the ball, about, defensive contribution. So he clearly, and it makes sense because we're one of the best defensive sides in the Premier League. He values that element of the game. And, today, the fact that he was focused off the ball and didn't look out of place. I think that's what gives Glasner, well, that's what makes Glasner give him massive credit. And, you know, it was a positive performance, and we'll see how much Glasner rates this by the amount of opportunities that he gets going forward. I think Uche, for example, I don't think there's no major debate. I think we're all in agreement to say over his last 2 games, he's performed very well. Well, especially in this game, he performed very well. He's going to get his opportunities. That's fair. With Esse, we're going to see how much this has impressed Glasner by the opportunities that he gets. But still, very positive comments coming from the manager, especially in times where we need players to step up, and we haven't seen players step up.
He's going to have to prove it in training. And I will say, if you want a good barometer for what the manager really loves, I think in this game was a good example of it. Watch Justin Devaney on the press trigger. Watch how Devaney moves to the ball like at speed, and he immediately pushes he pushes the attacker back, and he makes that press look. I mean, and the press was good today. D was really good, and Devaney is a big part of that. So like, it's basics like that, which is why Justin Devaney is trusted by the manager and gets so many minutes. It's like those things, those little things.
Yeah. Interesting as well from Glasner. He did say that Kleiny will start in the City game. So today I thought that this was our strongest 11 with everything put into context. I think Nathaniel Klein probably would be stronger, and not probably, he's a stronger option at right wing back than Justin Devaney because he's a left-sided player, but he can't play 3 games and you know, start 3 games in a row. So I think that's the reason why Devaney started where he did, and then eventually moved to left-hand side when Klein did come on. But Klein will be starting in that game, which I guess is expected. And also on Uche, he said it to TNT Sports, he said that Cristantes deserved it. He showed up against Fulham. He showed us he can help us and score goals. This is now for him maybe the starting moment at Crystal Palace. So, you know,
I love hearing that.
Yeah, exactly. So Glasner has high praises for Uche as well, which is good. Tim, because you know, it's been a rough start to his Palace career for Uche, and this was always going to be the opportunity, right? We was always talking about this period. If it's now or never, really. I mean, if he's not going to play now at all, then when will he play? Especially with the amount of games we have in December, and it's taking a while. Remember, you know, Salah could be back for the City game. We'll see how many minutes he can play, if he can play any significant minutes. But you know, he's going to be gone straight as soon as he's back due to AFCON. So Uche is still going to have opportunities, and also Uche didn't get called up to the AFCONs, which
thank God for that.
Yeah, in a greedy way for us. Yeah, exactly. It's a positive. It is a positive, which of course must be unfortunate for him. But in the Conference League, what do you think now about the dilemma we're in? We're 9th. We're right there. You know, 1 spot below the automatic qualification stage. However, Glasner did say before this game that he's going to rotate against Coops, and
he's going to have to.
Yeah, and I think he mentioned about 11 players.
Yeah.
So the same 11, I don't know if he exactly said the 11 players won't, you know, he's going to make 11 changes in the Leeds game in comparison to the Cubes game, but he did basically say that he's not going to be playing the same 11 in both games.
No,
so he referred to a wholesale of changes, but we're right there, Tim. We are right there. But you understand that as well. I mean, 2 games in, you know, 3 days. Within like basically 48 hours. Less than 3 days, because we're playing on Thursday and Saturday, exactly. So 2 days. It's a lot. So surely maybe we'll rotate the squad. We can still get a win and push into the top 8. Well, we're basically there. We're there. We just need one more win.
I think you're very likely to see something very similar to the team we saw today playing against Coops, and then you'll see something much closer to our typical starting 11 against City, with, you know, maybe a couple of changes here and there. Like you might see Jefferson Lerma starting in one of the center back positions against Coops, for example. You might see Kleiny starting in one of the center back positions against Coops. I don't know. Like maybe not, but I would expect heavy rotation for Coops because I think he feels like he can trust the team that we saw today against Coops at home. And then if necessary, then you bring on some of the starters. But I expect to see more of the starters against City. Obviously, Kleiny will play because of, Danny Munoz is out. And then for Leeds on the Saturday, I'm not saying he's going to give up on that game, but I think I think you're going to see a real heavy rotation for that game because you just there's
he did say it. He did say it. I was just trying to find it whilst he was talking. He said in his pre-match press conference for Shelbourne, he said this is coming from Bobby Manzi, that he will make 11 changes between the Leeds and the Coops match.
I mean, I think he has to. Like do
we even have? I'm trying to think. I know it's a bit early, but look, we're in a Conference League night, so we can talk about it a bit ahead. But 11 changes. Do we even have the potential to make 11 changes?
I think you're going to see academy players. You're going to see academy players.
Exactly. So let's see. Well, that's what he said. I'm pretty sure he's going to stick to his word because it's more. I don't think he really. I think it's more about fatigue and just player wellness more than anything. I think he'll stick to the 11 changes, but yeah, that's gonna be interesting because we're right there. Maybe with 11 changes we can still go and get a win. Or I don't know if a point will be enough because I know there's teams facing each other in the top 8 and then teams below us as well that could get a win. So I don't know. I think 3 points 100% will help us to the top 8, but I don't know.
I think we need 3. I think we need 3, and I do believe. I do believe that if push comes to shove, I think Glasner knows what he knows, and irrespective of what happens with City, if we need to push on for the win against Coops, forget about Leeds. He's pushing for the win against Coops to get those 3 points, and I think rightly so. If you have to rotate in essentially the entire team or close to it at Leeds, so be it.
Wait, do you think he's going to put his strongest 11 against Coops rather than Leeds? I think he's going to do the opposite.
No, I think he will try. He will try to use most of the team we saw today against Coops, and I don't think
that could be possible though because of Gay and stuff. That's going to be our strongest 11 then. Basically, there's a way.
Yeah, you're going to have
to. With our strongest 11 based on who we had available. I know Mitchell didn't start and Henderson didn't, but apart from that, Klein couldn't start 3 games.
Man, I don't know. It's a mystery to me. I don't know. I trust the manager. Let me put it that way. I trust the manager. I do think. I think if push comes to shove, though, D, the game that is more important to win is Coops. So I would expect the manager to prioritize that. If we can get away with a weaker squad and still get the 3 points with Coops, I think he'd love to do it. Like that would be ideal. But that's the game you got to win.
The reason why I think it's going to be the opposite, and I think he goes with the strongest 11 against Leeds. I need to find the quote, but he said something along the lines of, paraphrasing again, in his Shelbourne press conference pre-match, how by then we should be fine in terms of fixture congestion. Like it shouldn't be too much of a big problem, and he kind of puts not worried. He's not worried. He's not worried about the playoff game, essentially. He's basically saying, we'll be able to get through the playoff. So I think he's going to go for the Leeds game, which makes sense because if you're looking at where we are in the league, Tim, I mean, we are 100% making the playoffs, and there's a good chance, even if you don't make the top 8, that we should be able to go to the round of 16. I know it's not ideal because we have 2 more games to play, which we don't really need, but those will be played late Feb.
Yeah, in February.
So, yeah, it'll be late Feb, so we have a bit of time. But in terms of the Premier League, Leeds, they're not a bad side. They've, been getting
getting results. Yeah,
some decent performances against some top teams so far. But we are 4th right now in the Premier League, and that's a big opportunity if we want to remain around that area to get, to go get the 3 points against Leeds as well. But let's see around the time, anyways. Let's see around the time. But
you raised a good point. I'll tell you. You know what?
Coops, even if we lost the Coops game, we still will be in the playoffs, and I think a lot of people still will bank on us to get through the playoffs.
I agree with
Leeds,
that.
Like come end of the season, every point matters in the Premier League. It's
Yeah.
just wild right now. It's so tight right now. Imagine
That
some
is
end of the
true.
season where, like, only if you had a 3 points, for example. And I think that's why it's kind of banking on just the squad to get us through the Hoops game, and then we'll see what, you know, and
I mean, that's
against Leeds.
That's a really good point, and I would have to say, I think I would tend to agree with that. If especially, I would say it this way: if we find a way to get 3 points against Man City, then I 1,000,000% want to go to Leeds and go for the 3 points, because why wouldn't you, man? Why wouldn't you? Like, you need to establish that, you know, space up towards the Champions League places. So
yeah,
that's a fair point.
Even if we get a point against City, I think now there isn't much of a gap, but I think the lowest we could potentially drop would be 7th, and would be right there behind, you know, 5th place, which should get a Champions League, you know, spot. So even a point against City would be massive for us. By 3 points, that would be unreal. How are you feeling about the City game then, Tim? If we do have Sarr playing, I think Sarr is he could be the difference maker. They hate to face him because of his pace, his physicality. We know what Sarr can do. So I'm really looking forward to that. Hopefully, he can start this game for us. But their defense is shaky. I know they're not as bad as last season in terms of their attack. They can score goals, don't get me wrong, and create chances, but their defense is still there to be got at. And I just think we do 100%. Have players to attack the defense. How are you feeling?
No, I agree with that. And I would say, look, to me, this game comes down to how good is primarily the triangle, the combination of Max, Kleiny, and Richards. You must do everything possible to move Doku off the ball and keep Haaland under control. If you do that, because I do think that Mark, you know, Foden will probably drift. He will be central, but he also tends to drift right. So I do think Mitchell will come out and challenge him and make it a little bit difficult for him. So I think that's something that we can maybe look for and hope for in this game. But on the left side, that has got to hold up. If it holds up, if Kleiny, Richards, and Max are able to just get a bit of control right in that, you know, middle left area, I think we win that game, D. I think we can win that game because JP gets a little rest. Mitchell is rested, so I think he's going to be up for Foden. I think if Sarr plays, he can definitely get in behind. And I agree. They are not good defensively. They gave up 4. Fulham are good, but they gave up 4 against Fulham. We can get at them. 100% we can get at them.
Yeah, we can. Let's just see. Hopefully there's no new injuries. But yeah, let's see what we do. But we're gonna wrap up now. Tomorrow we're gonna be recording the preview show, so there's gonna be more Palace content coming your way. If you have enjoyed this, please do hit the like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below after the video ends as well. That's it from us, and until next time, up the Palace.
Up the Palace.